Okay, this next part of the build here, we're going to build this output shaft. So you'll need this piece here, and then the gear that goes with it. And I can't remember the name of the gear, but it's got those two little notches right in there. So, and then you'll need this real tiny little pin that's going to go in the back end of the shaft. So that goes in there. Then you'll slide this over it, the gear over it, and into that little notch. Then your bearings go over that. And that piece is put together. Then the next piece you're going to put together is your idler gear. So you'll need the next two size bearings up. The next bearing up is going to be a 5. Okay, the bearings that you use for this are the smallest bearings, which are the 5 by 10 by 4 millimeter. And this is going to be the 5 by 11 by 4 millimeter bearing. And it's going to go in your idler gear on both sides. And then you'll need this little shaft that goes in the middle there. And then the next part of the transmission build, we're going to need the output shafts, and we're going to need the 5 by 16, the 8 by 16 by 5 millimeter bearing. So I'll get that put together, and you're going to also need these screws, and they're the M2 by 6 millimeter. That's what it looks like. And there's 3 of them. And this is what they look like. Here's what one of the screws looks like. Okay, so let me reiterate a little bit here. I should show you that this is going to go in to this gear here, and then the other side will go on that side, and then there's 3 holes in here that you're going to put these screws into, and then the bearings go on the outside. Okay, so there's your output drive with the bearings on it, and I went ahead and used Loctite, just a little small blue dab of Loctite. It doesn't say to in the instruction booklet, but I want to make sure that stays on there. So now we'll just put these in the transmission casing. The idler gear goes right here. Then the other output shaft goes up here. And then I'll put a little bit of grease in there, and then I'll close it up. Okay, so I got all the gears inside, and I got it all greased up in there. If you can see the grease in there, you can see it in this. See the red grease? All right. So get this back on there, and the screws that you're going to use for this is going to be M3 by 25 millimeter. They're the longest screws in this part of the kit, and you're going to put them in from the back. On these 4 spots back here, there's 4 holes. Like loading bullets. Okay, put them into those holes. You'll take your motor mount, and these are going to go into that motor mount. into those 4 holes there. So this will go on here like this. And then we'll just put them in. Alright, I'll finish this up and be right back. Okay, so the next thing you're going to do is you're going to take this little piece right here, slide it over the shaft, and in there. Then I believe you're going to take this pin down here, this pin right here, slide it down into that shaft. Oops. Then this chuck with that notch on there will go over that pin. Actually, I think first we want to put this onto the spur gear. And you'll need the M3 by 6mm screws. I'll finish that up and I'll be right back. Okay, so that piece, or that chuck, whatever it is, went on the back of the spur gear. Then this will slide over that shaft and it should go over that pin. Okay, so we got the spur gear on there, and then that nut went right over the front of that. And now this cover is going to go on it. And the cover looks like it's going to use M3 by 12mm screws. And those will just go in these slots right here. So I'll get that and then we'll move on to the next part. Okay, next we're going to mount the transmission into the chassis, and it looks like it gives you some type of spacer that goes in between transmission and the chassis. So I don't know why it gives that to you, but we're going to go ahead and put it in there anyways, just because it comes with it. And then I'll put on the drive lines, and that should be mounted in there. I'll be back in a few. Alright guys, so I got the transmission in there, and I went ahead and put my motor and electronics on it too. So next I'm going to put on the drive lines, and then I'm going to put on the I'm going to fill up the shocks with oil and then build the links. So that's next.